I'll let you see some of the progress that we've made so far on the sawmill shed. And basically right now what we're doing is finishing up some of the, I guess you'd call it the siding work or the trim work, the batten and board siding. And what I've done here, I added another section of brace to this front section. It's not going to give me any obstruction to getting logs on the mill at all, but I just feel that with all the weight that is on this section of the LVL beam, and you can see the back side of it here, these rafters are full 2x6 and they were green material, green lumber, and quite a bit of weight on this section, so I added this extra bit of bracing to support that a little bit. That means that I've got to go back now and redo a little bit of this section here on the batten and board siding. And a neighbor gave me a cedar log, and so what I did, I incorporated that cedar log into this center section here. So on this post I've got some more of these utility boards, and that's actually what I'm going to be using to cover this area here, this post here and that post right there. I think it'll look pretty good when I get it finished. You'll notice that up here up above I took kind of the live edge of the cedar and trimmed out the front just a little bit. That's more of a decorative thing, and so that's what we're working on today. I've got to, for these piece boards of the utility poles here, they are over here underneath some of the cedar cutoff, and I need to mill them down just a little bit thinner. So I've got to move. These are the last of the pine logs that my nephew Lee Mobley gave me, and I've put them on the mill here just to kind of be drying over the past few days. I know they won't dry a lot, but to be drying, and so I've got to get them off, and then I'm going to be milling down some of the boards that we'll be using. So yeah, that's what we're going to be doing today, is just a little bit of trim work on the sawmill shed. I may not do very much more right now to the sawmill shed because it is functional. After I get this trim work done, we got to be getting ready for Christmas tree season. We got grass to mow, just a lot of things we've got to get done. So come on folks, let's get started. If you're new to the channel, please don't forget to subscribe, and for those of you that are back with us today, thank you so much for joining us again. And as always, if you like the video, give us a thumbs up. Don't forget to share it with a friend, and if you would, leave a comment down below. I enjoy hearing from you. Wherever you are, I enjoy hearing from you. So that's our project. Let's get started today. Someone recently said on their YouTube channel that one of the great advantages of owning a sawmill, in his case it was the same as mine, a wood miser. He said if you need a particular kind of lumber or size of lumber, all you got to do is mill it. If you need an 8-foot, 10-foot, or if you need a 2-inch board or a 1-inch board, that's the advantage of owning a sawmill, is you can just mill it down. And that's what I was doing here, was milling these sections of the old utility poles down into 1-inch boards that I could use for the facing on that post that I was showing you earlier. Just for even a little bit of sawing on these utility poles, I've been wearing my respirator / mask. This material is treated with copper and arsenic. I may be wrong in that, but I just don't want to take a chance of breathing any amount of this dust that is produced. I hope you can understand what I'm saying through the mask. I just noticed that I did not release the tension on the blade the last time I cut with the mill. If you would leave a comment below on your thoughts on whether or not you need to always release the tension on the blade, or does it hurt to keep tension on it. Just leave a comment and give me your thoughts on that if you would. Those main support posts that I showed you earlier are 8 inches each direction, 8 inches wide, 8 inches deep. And what I'm doing here is milling down that section of the old utility pole to 8 inches so that it will match up the dimensions of the face of that post that I'm going to be installing it on. Because these utility poles are pretty much seasoned out just from the age of them, that's why I'm putting the screws on these on each edge. I don't think I'll have a problem with them splitting because I think they've dried as much as they're going to be drying. And again, that's one of the reasons that I use them out here. I'm not putting a piece of batten on the side, so I didn't want to take the pine and just screw it in the middle. So that's one of the reasons I use the utility pole material out here on these two posts. After getting the board secured on the post, I started back work on the board and batten in this area of the support braces. This is some more of the sawn utility pole that I'm using for trim up near the top of the board and batten. And just in case you're wondering, a screw holds the other end of this board while I fasten the end that I'm at. Then I move back over then and fasten where I had the screw. When you're working by yourself, it does make it difficult at times to hold a piece of board or material in place and then screw it into position. Sometimes you need more than two hands. Well, there you have it, folks. Batten is up on the front side of the building. All the battening board on this side is pretty much finished the way that I want it. And this is probably going to wrap up my work on the sawmill shed for a little while. I hope you've enjoyed so far what we've done. Thank you for joining us. I really do appreciate it, and as I've said many times before, if this is your first time to the channel, be sure to subscribe, give us a thumbs up. As always, share these videos with a friend on YouTube. So again, this is Larry, folks. Thank you so much for joining us. Have a great one. See you next time. Bye-bye, everybody.